Hello, everyone. My name is Miss Mortl, and today I will be demonstrating my first grade math lesson plan on comparing two-digit numbers. This lesson aligns with the North Carolina teaching standard of NBT3, which requires students to compare two-digit numbers using the symbols greater than, less than, and equal to. The learning objective of this lesson is by using a worksheet and a writing utensil, the students can identify which two-digit numbers are greater than, less than, and equal to using the corresponding symbols with up to 70% accuracy. For my anticipatory set, I will introduce the lesson and what we're going to be learning today. This also involves a warm-up activity using place value. I feel like the place value kind of activates the prior knowledge that they have about it, and then this can help them be able to compare the two-digit numbers. And then I'm going to go into the teacher-directed instruction. Here I have a YouTube video to get the students intrigued, and then kind of to get them familiar with the symbols that will be introduced throughout the lesson. I also will be using hand movements to have the students understand which symbols are which. This also aids to kinesthetic learners as well as the visuals throughout my presentation that I have for visual learners. I also aid to the tool of repetition. During the entire slideshow, I have the students repeat back an example problem that I read first, and I feel like this kind of just helps them drill in their head which symbols are which and what math vocabulary term of greater than, less than, or equal to corresponds with the symbol. After that, there is a guided practice that we do. The students will go to their desks, get into pairs using a whiteboard marker and eraser. There will be review questions on my slideshow, and they will work together to figure out which symbol goes in the blank, and just being able to collaborate as well. After that, there is an independent practice, which is a short worksheet of 8 questions that the students just fill in the little bubble for, finding which symbol goes in the blank. Like I stated earlier, I'm trying to get at least 70% accuracy here just to see what the students have retained from the lesson and if students need more guidance and help, I can be able to give that to them. And then for the closure of the lesson, there is a quick 5-question Kahoot that will play as a class as a wrap up. I will be going into my mini lesson now. Hello, friends. So today we will be learning how to compare two-digit numbers, and to decide which of them is greater than, less than, or equal to using the symbols that we are going to learn about. But first, we are going to have a little review session about place value. So for the number 42, what does the tens place tell us? Yes, it tells us how many groups of 10 are in that number. So for 42, there are 4 groups of 10 in 42. In the ones place, it tells us how many ones are in the number. So for 42, there are 2 ones in the number. So now we're going to practice with the number 56. So how many tens are in 56? Right, there are 5 tens in 56. And how many ones are in 56? 6. Correct. Great job, guys. So now I'm going to play a little YouTube video about what we are going to learn about today, including these 3 symbols. So for these 3 symbols, we have greater than, less than, and equal to. So when we are talking about the symbol greater than, we are going to put our hands in front of us. We're going to make a little V, and we're going to turn it to the side. And anytime a number is greater than, we're going to chomp the number. So what do we do when it's the greater than symbol? Yes, we open our hands like a V, turn it to the side, and chomp the bigger number. So when it's less than, we're going to take our hands and just put them in our laps. And what do we do when it's less than? Yes, we put them in our laps. And then when it's equal to, we're going to take our hands like this, and we're just going to go like that. They're equal to. So what do we do when it's equal to? Yes, we go like this. So now we're going to get into the symbols. So for greater than, it means that it's bigger or it has more. So the alligator always wants to eat the bigger number, so its mouth is going to chomp the larger number. So for our example, 85 is greater than 41 because 85 has more tens than 41 does. It's 8 groups of 10 compared to 4 groups of 10. So the alligator wants to eat 85. So you guys are gonna repeat after me. 85 is greater than 41. Perfect. So now we're going to move on to our next symbol, which is less than. Less than means it's smaller or it has fewer. So the alligator does not want the smaller number, so it's just going to point at it. Its mouth is still going to open towards the bigger number and point at the smaller one. So in this example, 45 is less than 79. Do we see how it is pointing at 45, but its mouth is still open towards the bigger number? Because 45, there are 4 groups of 10 in 45, and there are 7 groups of 10 in 79. So 45 is less than 79. Perfect. Now we're going to go on to equal to. Equal to means they're the same. Either of the numbers are bigger or smaller. They're the same. They have the same equal amount. So 23 is equal to 23. Repeat after me. 23 is equal to 23. Great job, guys. Okay, so now we're going to go back to our desks, and you're going to get with a partner. One of you will need a whiteboard, a marker, and an eraser. And we are going to go over some practice problems. So here they're going to go back to their desks and get situated before I start the review questions. Okay, so in your pairs, you guys are going to decide which symbol goes in the blank. So 31, is it greater than, less than, or equal to 45? All right, show me your boards. Perfect. 31 is less than 45. Great job, guys. Make sure you erase the symbol that is on your board right now before we move on to the next question. So our next question is 71 greater than, less than, or equal to 58? All right, show me your boards. Yes, that is correct. 71 is greater than 58. All right, next review question. Is 90 greater than, equal to, or less than 90? Perfect. 90 is equal to 90. They are the same amount. Great job, guys. All right, one more review question. Is 67 greater than, less than, or equal to 58? Correct. 67 is greater than 58. So at this time, they would put their whiteboards away, go back to their own desk and bring out a writing utensil. It would be their independent instruction time. So I would pass out this worksheet. It's just 8 questions. It is fill in the blank. They just have to fill in the little circles with the corresponding symbol. And again, I'm trying to get a roughly 70% accuracy for this, just to make sure the students are understanding which symbols go with which term, and they can differentiate between the two-digit numbers. So after they do their independent instruction, we close out the lesson with a short 5-question Kahoot game, again with more repetition of just comparing two-digit numbers with the symbols as well as the vocabulary terms. And then I would let the class know that today we learned how to compare two-digit numbers using the symbols greater than, less than, or equal to. You all did such an amazing job with your alligator mouse, as well as using your place value knowledge to be able to compare our two-digit numbers. So that would be the closure of my lesson. And then just kind of to wrap it up, if they have any questions, answer the questions. And then, yeah, so thank you so much for watching my mini lesson demonstration of my first grade math lesson. That goes along with the North Carolina teaching standard of NBT3, which requires students to compare two-digit numbers using the symbols greater than, less than, or equal to. Thank you.